can I now turn to my left from Tim Piper, a farmer and landowner from the UK, who will give his response and his view on how meaningful greening can deliver genuine environmental outcomes without adversely affecting his farming production and his farming profitability.
Thank you, Philip. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Just first, a little bit of background history. I farm in Kent, southern part of the UK. When my father started farming, we were farming 50 hectares. We now farm 1,600 hectares, half of which we own. We have achieved that in the last 30 to 40 years through growing crops, maximum output for every acre. But during those last 30, 40 years, we've also embraced countryside stewardship, HLS, ELS, as it is in the UK. And we believe that we've always delivered. So we've not only been a profitable farm, a productive farm, but we believe that we've delivered and satisfied our environmental responsibility and given value for money. On that note, I find it quite disappointing that we're having to sit here to reform the CAP and introduce more greening measures, because I think that we have delivered. My catchment sensitive farming or water initiative advisor tells me that our water levels or our water quality is improving. And is it pure luck or is it circumstance that in my area I have no nitrate vulnerable zones? I don't know, I'll leave that up to you. In terms of ecological focus areas, to me, it doesn't make sense to impose regulations on those with highly productive land when they could be maximising production for the lowest cost per tonne. Food security in the next few years is going to be paramount, as well as food safety. We should be targeting less productive land and let member states' own environmental bodies decide where target areas should be, rather than prescriptive from Europe. Turning to crop diversification, it's my belief that as a result of previous Commission policy with coupled payments, certainly in the UK, this led to two crops predominating, winter wheat and oilseed rape. As a result of that, many farms in the UK have a situation where they have large infestations of one particular blackgrass weed. And it's forcing farmers to diversify their cropping to overcome this. I largely believe that a majority of UK farmers should be able to comply with the diverse cropping system that the Commission proposes. Turning to permanent pasture restriction, I'm struggling a bit with some of the wording insofar as I've always thought that permanent meant permanent and that it was there for life. But it appears that some people seem to think that permanent can be rotated. How long is permanent? And largely, in the UK, this proposal was leaked some 18 months ago. And in the meantime, a lot of UK farmers, for fear of their future income prospects, have ploughed up permanent land, permanent pasture. So I think probably that horse has already bolted. Greening, by its definition, will lead to lower productivity. But farmers have got to be compensated for this, not penalised for it. If payments stay the same, we're effectively 15 to 20% worse off in 5 years' time through inflation. One of the most beneficial environmental issues or impacts that I think we've had on our farm in the last 20 years is the 13 years that we've actually had 6 metre field margins on our land. We currently are supporting just under 50 hectares of 6 metre field margins. And I believe that this has led to an improvement in water quality and an environmental aspect in terms of insect life and wildlife, hares, barn owls. And I would single this out as the most productive and rewarding part of the stewardship process that we've embarked on in the last 20 years. It seems to me that one of the previous speakers from Syngenta was suggesting that it's a good environmental outlook, and I would support that. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Tim, you sound as if you're a Lithuanian farmer. You know, you clearly find it disappointing that farmers have to deliver more environmental outcomes because you consider that you're doing it already. That sounds very much like the view of your farmers, Minister. But let's just hold that point because I think that wants dealing with, you know, considering later. Can I turn to you?